Hey everybody, Scooterito here, bringing you the latest and greatest in high-quality video game entertainment. So the new Zelda was announced not really recently, but kind of recently. It's coming out in 2015, so we got a year yet, but I'm really excited about it, and you should be too. So a lot of Zelda games have come out since the official timeline was released that you're looking at right here. By the way, credit for that goes to these guys up in the corner. I don't know who they are. I got it off the internet because internet. Okay, so I am going to talk to you guys about where I think, in my theory, the games go, the new games that came out so far, and the new games that will be coming out, as well as my random other additions to the timeline where I believe they go. So, since the official timeline was released, a couple of games have come out, one of which is a link between worlds. It's a pretty nifty game. So we're gonna bring it in here, and we're gonna tell you guys where it goes. So basically, it goes right at the beginning of the timeline. So it's going right here before Skyward Sword. Okay, so we're gonna stick it up there. This is some high quality video editing software here. You guys don't even know this is the next level, next gen in video editing. Okay, so that's where that game goes, Link Between Worlds, and that is because when Link is on the wall at the one part of the game, because he can go into walls, he sees the bird from that game, from Skyward Sword, and it's flying overhead. But it's older than it appeared in that image. We could tell that based on the discoloration of its feathers. Okay, so that's why this one comes before this one. So next in the timeline, we need to first of all, Ocarina of Time did not happen, okay? That was actually non-canon. Shigeru Miyamoto definitely said that. So we're just gonna retcon yeah, it didn't happen, okay? Forget about it. It didn't happen. So, Ocarina is not a thing. Just don't even worry about it. But what is a thing in place of Ocarina is Pokemon Red version. So we're gonna go ahead and say Pokemon Red version happened in here. And based on how you do in Pokemon Red version, whether or not you're a noob determines what happens next. Right? So basically you got your 4 Swords Adventures. There's 4 different people. You can see red right there, okay, because blue, green, those are Japan, okay, not real. It didn't happen. Not canon. Okay, so Pokemon Red version's right here, right? If the hero's successful, you catch them all, right? Then it splits into 2 different timelines because, like I said, Link Between Worlds, two different timelines. And if you fail and you don't finish the game because you're a noob, then you get Hyrule's Decline in the last year, right? So you get all this stuff and it culminates in Zelda CDI, okay? Get over it. All right. So that's the thing. Now, the other games that have come out since the timeline was officially released, we got ourselves the Star Fox 64. Okay, this is actually what happened in the Minish Cap. Okay, we're gonna do this here. Okay, so a lot of you guys are thinking at this point probably like, Scooterito, man, what are you talking about? You're crazy, man. You be crazy. And I'm like, no, I'm not crazy, okay? And because this is why. So Star Fox 64 was released, and bear with me here, it was released as a 3D copy in the 3DS, okay? But when they released the 2DS, along with the 3D Zelda Ocarina of Time, it voided the original Minish Cap, right? Because that also came out on the DSi Lite 64. So the Star Fox 64 replaces the Minish Cap, okay? Forget about it. Don't worry about it. Didn't even happen. Evil God Vadi is born? That's not really... He's not Evil God Vadi. That's not a really thing. Okay, that's actually Andros from Star Fox 64, who's actually the reincarnation of the Hatred of Demise from Skyward Sword. And then he just shows up later as Gary Oak. So every time when Ganondorf shows up later on, and in this one there's some other guy who's not named Ganon, it turns out, because they're not the same name, they're also all Gary Oak, okay? So Gary Oak he changes his name to Ganon because his father, Professor Oak, is disappointed in him. So Gary Oak is Ganondorf, okay? Forget about it. It's just Gary Oak. Okay, so after that, we got ourselves Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, okay? Mike Tyson's Punch-Out is very important to the series, you understand, because the Triforce of Wisdom actually belongs to Mike Tyson, okay? Now, Lil Mac he's Lil Mac, okay? He changed clothes, okay? That's Red. It's the same person. The Hero of Time is definitely Red, okay? They call it the Hero of Time just as a placeholder because Ocarina of Time is not a thing anymore, okay? He's really just a Pokemon Master. So Pokemon Master Red, holding the Triforce of Courage, fought Mike Tyson in Majora's Mask, because Majora's Mask can't exist if Ocarina doesn't exist. They're mutually inclusive, alright? So, if Majora's Mask in the Ocarina, yeah, so this is Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, okay? Because Mike Tyson is actually Ganondorf. So that's the thing, leading into Twilight Princess, right? But since Twilight Princess is in this timeline, it's corrupted because Shigeru's comment about Ocarina not being a thing, then actually this cat is taking place in place of the Twilight Princess, okay? They're retconning this. They could do that. They're Nintendo. They're retroactively changing the series. So the cat goes right here in Twilight Princess. That's an actual thing, okay? I'm not saying this. These are not my words. These are Shigeru Miyamoto, and he knows what he's talking about. So don't question it. It's legit. Okay, it's legit. So, going on from there, we got Four Swords and Hyrule Adventure. Now, like I said before, Four Swords Adventures has red in it, but not green and blue. So actually, only red Link is the actual Link in the game. Okay, we're not gonna worry about purple Link. They haven't addressed that yet. But the green and the blue Link, they're not real because that was Japan only releases. The only canon part of Four Swords Adventure is the parts involving red Link. Just forget the rest of this stuff even happened. Okay, if you played as green or blue Link, it didn't happen. Okay, so. Another thing I should just talk about is the Oracle of Seasons, the Oracle of Ages, okay? That's 2 games in there. So what you have to remember is that there are 2 games, right? So one of the games is Weezer, the band. Not any of their music, just the band, Weezer. Not the individuals, just the band itself, the group, okay? That's Weezer, the band, right? So they're in there because, as it turns out, in Oracle of Seasons and Oracle of Ages, they're talking about Din, who's the one goddess, and then the other goddess who's like Lanayru or something. So basically, Weezer is actually Lanayru, right? Like there was just code for it. Like there's this whole like complicated way of figuring that out. It involves a lot of math and calculus. That's the thing. But because calculus, Weezer is actually Oracle of Season or Ages. Oracle of Age, it doesn't matter, it didn't exist, okay? So, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the Oracle's the seasons, okay? So that was the thing, too, that we need to address. So, basically, you got your Oracle of Seasons, right? It's a snowman. It makes sense, right? Oh, shoot, that's a big snowman. Okay, so that's a snowman, alright? Because seasons in winter, right? So when Link is standing on the stump, because the events of the game happen, remember, the events of Oracle games happen, but they just, the characters were not canon. You just have to remember that every time they mention Lanayru and whatever it looks like, the blue chick who dances or whatever, that's actually just Weezer, right? And just in the same way, Din is actually just a snowman. It's just they forgot to mention it, okay? So that's why, because calculus, Weezer is in the game for Oracles now. Okay, so going on into the future, we got the original 2 games. So you have to remember that because these games are really old, they had to retcon them a lot because they were different from what they actually meant them to be, right? So actually, Hyrule Warriors, the new game that just came out for the Wii U, that's an attempt at redoing both of these games together, actually. Both of these games didn't happen in the opinion of Nintendo. They were like, you know what, guys, we messed up. So we're just gonna say that Hyrule Warriors happened here, okay? This is where Hyrule Warriors is going, okay? So we got Red from Pokemon, Red version, is actually, and this is legitimate because 4 Swords, see, and then 4 Swords again. That's why Red is legitimate. Okay, so Red is the holder of the Triforce of Power, and then the Triforce of Courage. And the Triforce of Power is held by Ganon, but Ganon isn't really Ganon, remember, because he's actually Andross. Okay, so now we just need to address, in this important new way of looking at the timeline that Shigeru definitely brought up, it had happened. We need to talk about who holds the Triforce of Wisdom, right? Because that's not, yeah, Triforce of Wisdom, because we don't know. So actually, it's Sylvester Stallone holds the Triforce of Wisdom, because and that's why he has those ninja-like abilities as Sheik in Ocarina of Time, even though it didn't happen. Sheik is canon. The rest of the game isn't canon, but Sheik is canon. So actually, we're not doing away with any other games in this part of the timeline. But we have to describe it here in the Expendables too. Okay, that's why Sylvester Stallone is Triforce of Wisdom. So the princess Sylvester Stallone, right? He was definitely in Skyward Sword before, but just in disguise. Okay. So when he's showing up later on over here, that's when they explained his origin story, because before that they just didn't, right? So like they're like retroactively revealing all the secrets of being like, it was actually Sylvester Stallone in the game, the original game Skyward Sword. And that makes perfect sense if you look at it, because when Link is talking to Zelda all the time, trying to save her from Ganon, who's actually Mike Tyson, that makes sense. It doesn't. It just makes sense. Any clear rational person could determine that, right? Okay. So beyond that, then we still got to address where the new Zelda game is going, right? So the new Zelda game, we're saying it's just the Triforce, right? It's just, yeah. It's gonna go right at the end of the series. That is a big Triforce, but the Triforce is a big deal. Okay, so that's why it's gotta be in there. It's just to get your attention. So the Triforce, right? It represents the new Zelda game. It's coming out 2015. Shigeru says it's gonna be open world. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be the best probably game ever in the series, and that's actually going to replace the garbage that was Spirit Tracks that they didn't want to release, because it turns out it was actually just a bad game, and they're like, you know what, forget that existed. Really, it's just going to be the new game in the series, okay? So, with that, we're going to wrap it up here. Basically, in conclusion, this is my new theory for the Zelda timeline, right? We got a link between worlds, and because, of course, the obvious link with the wall and looking at the bird, we move into Skyward Sword. And then the Sacred Realm is sealed, and you got into Hyrule Kingdom established, and then in Corneria, which is Hyrule Kingdom, you got Star Fox 64, right? Where actually Andross is created, and it's Ganon. And then Four Swords, the green and blue aren't real. We don't know about Purple God, but Red is definitely real, so that clearly leads into Pokemon Red version. And if you're a noob, then it goes into that other side with Weezer and the Snowman. And then if you go on this side, it explains Princess Zelda and the Expendables 2 timeline. You gotta watch that. You know about the timeline, otherwise you're a noob and you're not a real Zelda fan. And then obviously we go to the backstory of Mike Tyson, who's actually Ganondorf, who's actually Andross. It's Mike Tyson and Andross are just two halves the same guy. So they're the same person. It's secret. And then there's the cat. It replaces Twilight Princess. Definitely, because Shigeru said so. And the new game goes at the end to replace Spirit Tracks because it was dumb and boring. That concludes it today, guys. That wraps it up. That's about all I have for you guys today. I hope you like it. Like, favorite, and subscribe, or don't, whatever, because Zelda!